All right, we're on here. We'll give it just a little bit of time here in the beginning to, make sure it's getting to all the platforms and the people are getting on. Appreciate people jumping on here. We have Demetri with GTL, Guarantee Trust Life. So once again, a
Good morning.
sponsor at MediCon. We appreciate the support big time. We want to make sure we get some people on here before we start talking about some of the new things at GTL and also um, some of the old things that people just haven't tapped into, yet. Some amazing products. Guarantee Trust Life has an extremely diversified product portfolio. They have they take a lot of unique approaches to the market. Specifically, we were just talking before we went live about the TGen, portion of the cancer policy. And GTL has, Demetri, you can correct me when I'm wrong, but we've talked about this a lot. Two different types of cancer policies at GTL.
Correct.
But one is made for kind of that lump sum price buster market, in the be competitive with some of those price buster type of products. But then one is aimed because you get access to. Tell me a little bit about that. I know we've talked about it before, but it's still something that you guys have that just nobody else has and nobody really talks about enough.
Yeah, Justin, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. Looking forward to coming out to Medicare Con this year again. It's always been it's always a good time and good to meet agents and such. But from the precision care product perspective, it is a very unique product, the only one of its kind. It's a lump sum cancer plan that has a benefit that generically we call it TGen, but in reality, what it is, and don't let this word scare you guys, genomic sequencing. It sounds like a big word and all that. All it really is that it's a testing that TGen performs that actually sees the fingerprint of a tumor. And then by knowing what the fingerprint of that tumor is, they can then take a look and see what successes of treatment they've had with that particular fingerprint and be able to help somebody go down that path sooner versus later.
Yeah. And you told me one time that and you may remember this, if you go to the doctor or the oncologist, let's say locally, and you were to randomly get the genomic testing that they do or what they would standardly do, it tests for X number of gene sequence, 400, and the TGen, 19,000. So just imagine how much more data you're really dealing with there. So this is everybody's always looking for a hook to sell. There's a constant evolution of hooks. Medicare Advantage came in and it created the hook of zero premiums, and then OTC givebacks, and food cards, and dental, and Part B givebacks, and all that. And those are good hooks, and they're getting heavily policed in how you use them as hooks to get people to talk about things, because you don't want it to be a bait and switch or not quality advertising. This is a hook. It's not just a hook as far as it's a bait and switch. It's a good hook. It's a hook that I just told you that, like, I have a lump sum cancer policy for my whole family, but I need to add it, and I stupidly have not added it personally, but I need to add it because, like you said, you could buy the base plan and get was it a 15,000? What's the benefit?
$15 a month minimum. Yeah.
$15 a month. So once you get a $15 a month policy, you're getting access to this, which is not potentially could be, it's very likely to be, if you get it on a whole family, it's very likely that you prevented something or saved someone's life or reduce the effects of, or increase the effectiveness of treatment, or so many things. So that's one product. Most people know GTL because you guys were on the cutting edge of the hospital indemnity, side. As Medicare Advantage, was really not that popular when I got into the industry. It had certain markets it was growing in, and I remember thinking, I don't sell Medicare Advantage. Medicare Advantage is crap, And at the time, I'll stand by it. At the time where I was marketing, the networks just were not evolved enough. The network adequacy wasn't good, and so I remember hearing somebody talk about, oh, we sell GTL, and I was like, why would anybody need that? Now we sell a shitload of hospital indemnity as Medicare Advantage became more viable. And you guys were really poised. That would have been an innovative thing. So GTL is consistently, innovative in product design, I would say. I'd put you guys at the cutting edge of innovation and ancillary product design. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, 1,000. I think that's something that we really strive to try to do. We can always copy everybody. You can copy everybody else and have the same thing and compete on service and so forth. But let's try to find something that could be a very good value for the clients, that's nobody's doing or can utilize and tap into something else, especially when you're looking at today with everything going on technology wise. There's a lot more things that could happen now, by adding little things to products like for example, our short-term care products. We have a Recover Cash program, which is a facility care product with a home health care benefit, but also has a benefit on there called for T-Care. And what T-Care is a caregiver benefit. So now when all the other plans out there don't provide a benefit for the caregivers, this one will. It will provide some support for them because caregivers, they go through a lot. That's caregiver, it's your spouse, your kids, family members that are helping the person out. And we forget about them. We don't think about them as much, I guess the best way to put it. And, so we have a benefit for them in addition to taking care of the big bills that skilled nursing could happen or home health care. I mean, we have, as we talked in the past about our home health care product, short-term home health care, that also has a T-Care benefit attached to it also. So if you don't want, if your client's not concerned about skilled nursing, that's fine. You can take care of just home health care by itself and get T-Care and make a very, very, very attractive offer to your clients in offering the home health care, because aside from home health care benefits, there's also a prescription drug give back. We got that part of it, right? And then you got the T-Care on top of it. And if by chance, if they don't qualify for hospital indemnity and they want to get some hospital indemnity, you can add a hospital indemnity benefit on it because the underwriting on home health care is very generous. So we got a lot of options.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, we got somebody that's commented here. They love the GTL Advantage Plus Elite. So we've got some GTL lovers popping on. We got some Heart GTL. So, a lot of GTL producers, and before we went live, we were talking about, it's twofold. Everybody that gets involved in Medicare Con has a mission, and one is obvious: find more agents and let them know about what we offer so that they can fit it into their portfolio, be a blade in the Swiss Army knife. But secondly, there's so many people writing GTL that are writing one product, probably a lot writing the hospital indemnity. But if they just look at like the TGN, the life products, the home healthcare products, different things that are in there. And like we were talking about, I'll get, we'll have agents that'll ask us, and some of them may watch this and say, oh, he's talking about me. And I love all you guys, guys and gals, love all of you guys. I enjoy agents, first of all. It's the main reason I do this, and do Medicare Con and do all this is because, to be honest, guys, I don't have a lot of friends outside the industry because I don't have time for them. I like you guys, so I'm like, I want to party with you, so I throw parties and events for agents to get around it. Hopefully we make some money in the process, but ultimately I'm creating my own world, right? But just so I say this with love, but agents will go out and pick up, every product for $1 a month savings here, or this one tiny writer. And then you'll say, hey, you're writing this product, but you should be writing this one with this product portfolio. And so you can write these products. And then they're like, well, this one product has this one bail. And look, GTL does win with some bails too, but they win with product diversity and a simplified process and service. So GTL is a great partner of ours, great to do business with. And the fact that I can, instead of getting 70 contracts and paying appointment fees in every state for every little product out there, let me work with a carrier that's already gone to bat for multiple products. It's so easy for us to go in, and we do this all the time with med subs, with hospital indemnity, with cancer products, with life products, and go in and say, here's the product we recommend. Mrs. Jones, it's not the cheapest product. I have access to cheaper products, but this company right here is going to be marginally within the same realm as some of these other ones, slightly more, but it's a company that we know that we can rely on, that we have a good partnership with. The customer is not looking for the cheapest product. That's not what they're looking for. And it's not that GTL isn't the cheapest in some ways. Sometimes you guys are the cheapest, right? So I'm not saying this because GTL is expensive. They're not. They're priced very effectively. I'm saying this so that you guys will look, if I'm writing hospital indemnity with GTL, but I'm writing life with these carriers and cancer with these and home health care with these, that is just, gosh, boom, right? And like I told Demetri, 95% of our deposits at our size are coming from definitely less than 10 carriers, even though we have 70 something appointments. A lot of those appointments are because one agent in South Dakota asked me for this one carrier, and we pick it up because we don't want them to go anywhere else, right? But really, you guys most of you could do a tremendous percentage of your business with a handful of carriers. Most agencies could be getting 99% of their deposits from 3 to 5, maybe 5 to 7 companies, depending on where they're at. Medicare Advantage can make that a little difficult because you're dealing with networks and all that, and depends on how broad your marketing is. But if you're marketing to one kind of regional geo area, I mean, under 10 should be very easy. If you're marketing nationally, you're an FMO, they can be different, but really still the lion's share of commission is probably going to come from under 10 under 10 carriers. So GTL is one of those. If you had to limit yourself to a handful of carriers, it's one that's going to give you home health care. It's going to give you cancer. It's going to give you hospital indemnity. It's going to give you life products, right? That's awesome. There's not a lot of carriers out there. A lot of them are coming in and can be limited in that way. So that's just a leg up I feel like the GTL has in a lot of people. So, man, appreciate everything you guys do for the marketplace. And Demetri, man, as far as carrier reps go too, like this is a responsive dude. He's likable, enjoyable. We hang out, we have fun and we learn, and he knows his products and he knows GTL, and the dude bleeds GTL. So what more can you ask for? How long have you been at GTL, Demetri?
Funny you ask. I just celebrated my 20 years at GTL. I started in 2004, so it's been 20 years.
Demetri is GTL.
It's been a great ride. I mean, quite honestly, I can't say enough about the company itself. I mean, we're a family-run business, which everybody that's probably watching this is a family-run business, right? So we're all kind of the same. In our world of insurance, it's all corporate America for the most part.
Yeah.
So with us, it's I think it's a big positive to be a mutual, owned by the same family that started us in 88 years ago. So I think that's important. It's all about the consumer, which is your client, and you, the agents. That's what opens up. That's what turns on the lights here every year. It's not anything else. It's you guys. Right. So we do appreciate that. And one thing I do want to bring up, Justin, and just because I was thinking about it as we're talking about Medicare Advantage, hospital indemnity, we always talk about them, but I don't know if people really know this or not, but we write a lot of Medicare Advantage as an industry. I couldn't tell you what the exact numbers are, but I know it's a lot. So if you think about whatever that total number is from MA, there's only 0.8% of those MAPDs that are written that have a hospital indemnity attached to it. 0.8.
Wow. I can tell you in this office it's a higher percentage, but
I know that.
That's crazy. That is
so if you're looking for an opportunity,
I would have thought it would have been on the lower, but I would have thought you would have said 15 to 20% or something. 8.8. That's crazy.
That's as an industry, we're at 0.8. Yes, you guys break that curve, no doubt about it. But if you're really looking at an opportunity, I mean, just look within your own book of business. Make sure you start presenting these other complementary ancillary products, because those are gold. It's a gold mine that you already have established from your regular business that you're doing, either Med Sup or if it's MA or even ACA world. I mean, it's a lot of products, that Justin always talks about, when he does his podcasts and such. They're not just about senior market. You can talk about these products for folks that are 45, 50, 55 years old, and so you can really get down into a different demographic to maybe then build into your Medicare business down the road.
Totally. We read a lot of hospital indemnity and cancer, heart attack, and stroke in the ACA and short-term medical markets as well. And now we're starting to do some group health, and there's some work site benefit side on that certain, carriers we work with that did the hospital indemnity or gap plans that type of stuff. So tremendous amount of opportunity there. And not to mention, there was a period of time when, I got into the business. Yeah, my dad, he can take this on the chin, but every idea I had was bad. He said, There's no money in under 65. There's no, there's no, don't certify to write the PDPs. Don't cross sell ancillary health. It was just, it was all my way or the highway. Meds up, meds up, meds up. Occasionally somebody will ask you about a life plan. I attributed, I got me into the right industry. It is a great industry. But, turns out the under 65 world at the time, this was 2014, early 2014, I got into it when ACA was really starting to go. And I know that a lot of people view that as a tumultuous time. So I know guys that had huge under 65 books pre-ACA and it hit them and there was a rebound period, right? And so they think it was the worst thing ever. Well, I came in after ACA had hit, but it was just now getting kind of implemented and the plans were rolling out. And for me, it became a door opener. And when you're a new agent or a struggling smaller agent, anybody that will talk to you about insurance is a good thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I would relish any opportunity to just somebody that wanted to listen or wanted insight or wanted information. There was times where I was selling, and not just a short period of time, for a while, I couldn't get Ambetter to give us a contract. United Healthcare pulled out of the ACA marketplace early on, and we were writing, Ambetter for free. And the only way I could make money was to cross sell ancillary benefits on these plans. So I was doing the ACA for free, and and when you can only make money on the cross sell,
you're selling it.
Cross sell, baby. And the thing is there was a need there because these ACA plans would have huge out of pockets. But you know what I did, Demetri, is I went after, once I realized this was nobody, like all the old health insurance guys got out of the business, said, oh, it's the apocalypse for under 65. And, all these other people were focused on Medicare. And I said, 55 to 64-year-olds under 65 health in that retirement period or self-employed or whatever. And so I started writing that business, and it's a huge portion of our success. As I started Facebook advertising to that group, cross-selling them ancillary health, hip, cancer, heart attack, stroke, that type of benefits, right? And guess what? Where did they go when they turned 65 at that point? And I'm going to tell you guys that are thinking about the way ACA is marketed now, completely different. Back then, this was middle-class buyers responding because I was helping them with something that nobody else was trying to help them with, or very few people. I mean, there were other people, but very few people, not enough. And so if you can always look for these opportunities, like GTL does, to tie that back in, GTL looks for these opportunities to create products that are different, that serve a niche or a need. If you can do that as an agent and then think about the entire products that are at your disposal: cancer, heart attack, stroke, dental, vision, and hearing, hospital indemnity, MedSup, Medicare Advantage, ACA, Part D prescription drugs. Sometimes the hook is helping with a thing that everybody else says there's no money in that. Okay, I'm looking for when people need help in abundance at a rate that, that's where the opportunity is for me. Is the opportunity is where can I get in front of a lot of people with low competition, they're high intent, and you just look for ways to make the money. The money can be the cross sell. Like I just think people underestimate that. If I wouldn't have been able to cross sell early on, I don't know. I have no idea where I'd be, because a lot of my early income came from cross selling ancillary benefits.
Is it make money, Justin, or is it making profit with cross selling too?
That's making profit. Sometimes now. And that's the thing. Now the cross sell is my first year profit, because we're spending the entire first year's commission potentially. We plan. Hopefully, we do better than this. We plan on the first year's core product commission can go towards cost per acquisition. Now, there's some products like ACA now where you have to aim lower than that because the churn can be pretty bad in certain markets. But as far as MedSup, Medicare Advantage, T65, what we're really going after, we're spending the amount that we would make on the core product in the first year. And that's spending on marketing, fixed costs like commissions for our reps and all that kind of stuff too. But the ancillary benefit can become, heavily profitable the first year for us, so that we can use that money to scale and then and then go. So it is very important, you know. And so people that are like, well, I don't know if it's worth my time. What do you mean worth your time? It's not. You're already in front of the customer. We're talking about 5 minutes of conversational pattern shift, and you know you're going to get definitely more than 0.8% to buy it. 0.8% is the result of people not asking at all. You know, I mean, you would at least get 20 to 25% if everybody was just asking the question and explaining it correctly. At least that.
Absolutely. I mean, oh my God, it's the whole thing about when we talk about complementary products and ancillary products. It's just about bringing it up 100% of the time. You know, I mean, everybody always asks, well, how is it that Justin's successful in doing a hospital indemnity, or whoever might be doing a lot of hospital indemnity? How are they successful? Well, they bring it up. They don't, because the client's never going to ask you. How many clients have asked you, Justin, hey, do you have any can I take care of those co-pays for the hospitalization or whatever, you know, outpatient surgical?
You know, and so some people are not selling it too because they're not adequately explaining the plan. Because if you adequately explain the plan and then say, you know, what we typically do as you're going in and explaining the pitfalls of Medicare Advantage is we'll say, here's the way this works, you know, because everybody's talking about the extra benefits, but we want to go through and say, okay, here's your maximum out of pocket, and here's how you would hit that because you have these standard copays, right? Only now, and we try to take the sting off of it because we're like, listen, it's a relatively small percentage of people annually that actually hit their maximum out of pocket. So it's not common, but it does happen. But even if you don't hit that, you're going to have expenses as you go. You're paying as you go. You're paying a copay here. You're paying a co-insurance for this. You're paying these copays. And then when we get to the bigger copays, because they're not normally worried about the PCP or specialist much, but if you get to the daily hospital copay, you get to 20%, you know, for chemotherapy or radiation, things like that. Then we say, hey, put a pin in that. We'll go back to those, you know, because those are the ones that tend to get people towards their maximum out of pocket each year. And we'll talk about a way that we can cover that. And we finish the explanation of the summary of benefits. And then we go back to the end. Now, remember how we said put a pin in those? There's a product, and you know it's typically going to be around $1 a day, or maybe a little more depending on how we build it. But we can build it to cover those holes. It just depends on how many you want to cover. Now, we always recommend covering the daily hospitalization portion. We also recommend a lump sum cancer benefit for that 20% coinsurance, and we try to build that to be about two. You can build it to be equal to 1 year. We try to build it to be 2 years worth of their maximum out of pocket and lump sum cancer. Because if
that's
they get it,
Justin.
Yeah,
that's very important. I'll give you my personal example on that. Why? Because a lot of people will say, "Oh, why would you want to do that?" I'm not. Those of you that know, I've been diagnosed with cancer in 22. In November, I hit my deductible in 22. Went through my treatments and such in 23. Guess what? I had to hit again in 23.
You got to hit that sucker again.
Yeah, my maximum out of pocket got hit again, right? You know, so, and then now even in 24, because I'm just finishing up, just finished up 2 weeks ago, I still hit my maximum out of pocket for my health plan. So when we talk about in training, we talk about this, you got to do 2 times maximum out of pocket for cancer. Yeah, it's real. It does really happen. I know before I had it, it happened to me. Yeah. I knew the theory of it. Now it really did happen. So it does. It is real.
Sometimes you get diagnosed with cancer late in a year. You know, I mean, like you could even have a case where you were treated and everything, you know, came out well pretty quickly. But if I had it happen in November and then I was still getting treated in January and February, then I'm probably going to hit it twice, or I'm at least going to hit a significant portion out of pocket twice. So we always recommend that. Now, if that price is a buster for them, then we can always backtrack to 1x, you know, that out of pocket. But I think most people are worried about the fact that they have a zero premium plan and then they're bringing a premium, and we have so many soft sales reps that are not trained to get routing and account info because they've been trained on selling zero premium ACA or zero premium Medicare Advantage. Thank God I learned to sell MedSup and final expense and ancillary health before I started selling MA and zero premium ACA, because that's why our cross sell potential is so high. So honestly, the only reason that groups like ours sell more ancillary than other groups is we have a psychological flip. You know, I came into it with premium. So going to no premium, it's like, why would you offer someone? And I'm not talking about a dual special needs plan necessarily, you know, not that they won't buy certain things, but I'm talking about most of the people we see. And sometimes you also get in an issue where you're looking at their budget and you're imposing, if I had that much money, how would I spend it? Well, they're in a different psychological state. They're managing their health care for a lot of our customers becomes, the biggest thing in their life, and so, you're thinking about it. If I'm 36 and healthy and my kids are young, my wife's young, and we're all healthy, and I'm thinking, okay, I want to commit an emergency amount of an emergency style budget, like to it, like, okay, I want to have a high deductible. I just want to pay as low as possible, and then I'm okay paying that big out of pocket if that happens. These people are not. They're not prepared for that big out of pocket often, and because it's so important to them, paying $30, $40, $50, $60 a month is good. Now, on the med sup side, if you're writing med sup, it is so easy to sell a cancer policy with a med sup. And this 2000, so we used to talk about how there was no cap on the out of pocket for drugs. Now, I think this conversation is going to flip. And I don't know if you thought about this, Demetri, but the Inflation Reduction Act, has put this cap on drugs. And so we used to say, well, there's an unlimited potential out of pocket on drugs, and cancer drugs are very expensive. So that and other non-medical expenses is why I would have a cancer policy with med sup. Now, what I like to say is, listen, we believe that, just because President Biden says you got to have a $2,000 maximum out of pocket doesn't change the economics of the way the world works. And so what's going to happen is that quality or quantity is going to shift. And so what I believe is going to happen is those formularies are going to get skinnier. And now, instead of having 95% catastrophic coverage on a drug like Revlimid, it's very likely that there's going to be formularies that just won't cover it at all. And so then that cancer policy, now I need a bigger cancer benefit, because yes, and this is what's cool about having a lump sum amount of cash with cancer, is you can start to cash negotiate. So it's great if you have med sup Medicare Advantage for a lot of the medical expenses, because it's going to cover the lion's share of things. But you get that drug that you need, or maybe you get some sort of, sometimes there'll even be, with cancer, is always like these cutting edge treatments going on, and sometimes they're not approved by Medicare yet. Well, when you have lump sum cash, like I have a $75,000 cancer policy, but if I have that lump sum of cash, I can go and negotiate some things with that cash. The cash price sometimes less than the network adjusted. Actually, often is less. It's crazy. They're like, oh, you get this Blue Cross PPO network price, and then you look at the cash price, and I don't know how they get away with that. But I went in. Let's see. I had this surgery as an outpatient surgery at the end of last year, in December. And when I went in, I had Blue Cross. I had a $1,750 deductible. And they made me go to the desk, like the surgical center, a day or two before to pay for everything or get everything paid for and all that, approvals with insurance, everything. So I go up there. She says, you have a $1,750 deductible that you're going to have to pay on this surgery. But if you'll pay in cash, or if you'll pay it today up front, like wasn't cash, but like with a credit card or debit card or whatever, today, I think it went down to like $500 or something.
Oh, geez.
They said, but if we have to bill it to you, we're going to bill you the whole deductible, and I'm like, well, I'll pay it, great. But so cash gives you power. The ability to pay now gives you power. On the other side of that, there's charity and things like that. But we don't want our customers to rely on what charity is available and navigating that process. And we don't want them to rely on their family as much as possible. We want to be able to have them self-reliant. They don't want to rely on their family. It's not a good legacy play for them, to have that. So anyway, look, GTL, super thankful for you guys, sponsoring again, being part of Medicare Con. Can't wait. I've been saying it, I'm going to say it again. The expo hall opens on Monday at 1 p.m. for the attendees. That's when registration is happening too, 1 to 5 or 1 to whenever we decide to close the registration booth. That is going to be prime time to come to the expo hall and meet Demetri, myself, Lustig that is going to be out there, all these people that are going to be around. That is going to be the prime time to grab and bend ears, because the stage won't be lit up at that point. General session is not going to be available on Monday. So there's no breakouts. There's none of that. It's all networking. And I can tell you from experience at events, the most valuable thing at an event, I'll do my best to throw the best event with the most value, but there's nothing more valuable at events that I've ever gotten than meeting someone and learning from them. So get there, meet Demetri, go up to GTL booth. If you guys have the Medicare Con app, there's a map on there. It'll show you exactly what booth he's going to be in, and anybody else that you're wanting to meet while you're there. So check it out. We appreciate you being on here today, Demetri.
Thanks a lot, Justin. Appreciate everything you guys do especially for Medicare Con. I'm looking forward to meeting the agents. And I know there's some questions that were probably popped up there while we were talking about something specific, but feel free to come and see me. I'd be happy to talk to you about our claims process and everything else any other questions you'll have.
Awesome. And if you guys have any questions too, you're not going to be at Medicare Con, you want to field them, send them over to info@medicarecon.com and we'll get them to Demetri if they're for GTL or anyone else. So thank you guys so much for being on today. We'll see you soon.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.